I did not see this coming. Your Denver Broncos have quietly gained an upper hand, and you can make a true argument and not even have rebuttal from the national media that the Denver Broncos have the best position groups in at least 3 different categories, and I think by the end of the season it's going to be even more. We also have some great news about the running back room. We're breaking all that down. Let's dive in here. So what we are seeing here is just that, like, traditionally, sources that have slept on the Denver Broncos are stopping to sleep on them. I still think the typical NFL fan has no clue what the Broncos are about to do next year, but if you actually look at what the nerds are projecting and what some of these football guys are projecting, it just gets you wildly, wildly hyped. So what we're going to first look at here are just a couple shocking things about the Denver Broncos offensive line and just things I never thought that I would see. So first off here, we have a Sports Illustrated article that comes out and says that the Denver Broncos have the best offensive line in football. We have ESPN just further corroborate the fact that, man, last year we actually had the top-ranked pass blocking offensive line and the top run blocking offensive line, just like reminding us of that. And then what we have here, this is Football Insights, and what they do is they take a look at multiple different ranking organizations and take all of those and average it out, right? So just like in the presidential election, you don't want to rely on one poll, but if you combine all the polls, you're more accurate. And so that's what this did. This is combining it from Pro Football Focus, Fantasy Network, Fantasy Points, Sharp Football Analysis, and ESPN. And it's showing you the line here is like, hey, this is what its lowest was, and this is what its highest ranking was. You see right here that across multiple different sources, they are saying that your Denver Broncos have the second best offensive line, just slightly behind what you see here with the Philadelphia Eagles. And again, I don't need to remind you, they are the Super Bowl champions. We know Sean Payton and George Payton have said that they want the energy permeating to the team through the offensive line, and that the offensive line is what is going to win games for your Broncos. And so that has to make you wildly, wildly hyped. So we have the best AFC, we have the best position group in the entire AFC there at the offensive line. And you are seeing that not just from a Broncos homer, but you're seeing the national media kind of reflect that. So then taking a look here, what's another position that we might have the best in the NFL? And this is a Bleacher Report article ranking the best pass rush duos. So how do you win a Super Bowl? You have a great offensive line and you have a great defense. Defense wins championships, right? And who can get after the passer the best? Well, who might have the best? And so we're seeing here you have a bunch of honorable mentions. Hey, we get to keep scrolling. We're not number 5. We're not number 4. We're not number 3. We're not number 2. We have the best pass rushing tandem in the entire NFL. And the wild part about that is that we have an absolute platoon of outside edge rushers, because you're not talking about Dondre Tillman on here. You're not talking about a rookie who was the youngest rookie in football to average or to get at least 5 sacks in Jonah Ellis. And so we have the best pass rushing tandem in football as well. How do you win championships? You have a great offensive line and you have a great pass rush. And then on top of that, another part is like the NFL already told us that we also have the best corner in football, and that is Patrick Surtain. He won Defensive Player of the Year, not just the best corner in the AFC, but also the best defensive player in the entire NFL. He locked down some of the best receivers in football last year, seeing what he was able to do. You line him up on tight end, and he picks off against Brock Bowers. So we have the best offensive line, we have the best pass rush tandem, we have the best corner in football. And then on top of that, what we see here is that CBS went out and said, all right, which teams had the best offseason in general last season? Or this offseason. And what's incredible about here is that the Broncos were a playoff team last year. So good for you, Chicago Bears. Good for you, New England Patriots. You guys didn't sniff the playoffs last season. So the Broncos had the best offseason of playoff teams in the AFC. And you don't even see other AFC playoff teams on here. And so that's, I guess you see the Bills here. But the fact is, the Broncos had a much better offseason than the Kansas City Chiefs, than the Chargers, than the Raiders. And that's a fantastic thing, because we already were in the playoffs. So we already had a head start on these other teams, and then we even got better. And so I think the Broncos just are gaining this massive upper hand. On top of that, we're just seeing more and more advanced analytics show how good Courtland Sutton is. So this comes out here and this ranks who's the best wide receiver that you want when you're throwing a jump ball situation. And you see Courtland Sutton weighing in right here as the number 5 wide receiver when you're throwing a jump ball. We know what Sean Payton plans to do this year is have different options depending on whatever problem the defense presents you. And so knowing that he has the answer to whatever coverage best suits itself to throw Courtland Sutton the jump ball. And then in addition to that, we got a Pat Bryant, who can just be an absolute slant god, just like we saw with Michael Thomas. And we see that Marvin Mims is going to continue to get better on those go routes. And we're going to see Troy Franklin take steps forward. Devon Vele take steps forward. So one of our positional of weakness, right, the wide receiver position, you're seeing this come out and be like, hey, if you're throwing a jump ball, there's nobody better on that jump ball than Courtland Sutton. Another more love for another position group is NFL 100 is being released slowly, 10 at a time, and you're seeing Zach Allen get in there. So not only do we have the best pass rush tandem on the outside, when it comes to who's the best at the interior defensive line position, you're seeing Zach Allen is going to be a top 5 guy at the interior of the defensive line. And so this is just all starting to weigh incredibly in our favor. And then you look at just how the schedule is playing out and why we might have an upper hand in there. When you look at our entire division, the number of playoff teams from last season that we have to play 8 total playoff teams who made the playoffs last season, whereas the Chiefs has to do 2 more than us, and the Chargers and the Raiders both have to play 1 more playoff team than we did. So our schedule is incredibly, incredibly favorable for us to just absolutely pop off. And really, the only position of weakness, and I think we are one of the lowest ranked in this position, is the running back position. Yet I think Sean Payton feels incredibly confident with the stable of running backs that he has, and we've broken it down ad nauseum on this channel that Sean Payton always has multiple types of backs who all do different things very well. And so I think we basically have our muscle hamster, our guy who is going to just dominate in short yardage and goal-to-go situations is Audric Estime, and I think he is having an incredible offseason, and you just see that he's hyped for next year. He's not listening to any of this noise about like, oh, he might be a cut candidate, and instead you see him grinding like incredibly hard. I cannot wait to see what he looks like when you actually strap pads onto him. The wild part about him is like he was one of the youngest players on our team last year, and I think he's still, even though we drafted a rookie running back, he's still way younger than you have in RJ Harvey, and so we haven't come close to seeing his ceiling, and it doesn't look like he is whatsoever like unconfident from getting swapped out of that playoff game. Instead, you see he's got that chip on his shoulder and training incredibly hard. So I think all of these signs are just pointing all the way up that we have the best offensive line, best pass rush tandem, best corner in the league, and our weakest position, our running back room, Sean Payton is just over the moon pumped about it. And the rest of our division took steps back. And then you even see like even in Kansas City media, you see them starting to dogpile on maybe like a sense of complacency from a couple-time Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs. This is a pretty prominent podcaster and radio guy in Kansas City. His show has 125,000 subs, so this isn't just some guy in his mom's basement making YouTube videos. He's a big deal there in Kansas City media, and he is calling out the complacency for Patrick Mahomes, saying, you look out of shape, you look complacent, you are not going to hit Tom Brady's level if you don't start training harder. And some of the pictures that you see from a Travis Kelce and a Patrick Mahomes is a sense of complacency. And so I think all signs are pointing up that your Broncos have gotten a massive upper hand this offseason, and you don't need to just think that this is a homer take. I just showed you multiple outside evidence, a preponderance of evidence that your Denver Broncos are making a deep, deep playoff run. If you like this type of content, would you smash that like and subscribe button and let me know how hyped are you for the Broncos this offseason? Broncos Country, we got so much to Bo-LIEVE in. Let's go. That's a fact.